Now this one is a what we call a dual run capacitor, so it's got two ratings. It's got a 30 microfarad rating and a 5 microfarad rating. And we're going to test both of those to see that they're within spec. Now this should be the 5 microfarad right here. And we're right there. And this should be the 30. And 27.8 is within specifications. 27.9. So we'll put that back in. So another common problem we see on some of these units is sometimes bugs and things will get in here and short out the circuit boards. And as you can see on this one, there is a little bit of a spider's nest in here, so let's go ahead and clean that out real quick. And we always check the back side. So everything looks good. There was a little bit of a spider's nest in there, but clean that all off. Now, seeing how this is a heat pump, it's got a defrost system. That was just the defrost and control board that we were looking at. And that board has a couple of sensors that it uses to measure the temperature of the outdoor unit coil and the outside air temperature to help it determine when it should initiate a defrost cycle if it ices up. So we like to take a resistance reading on those sensors to make sure they're within spec. And this one's saying 19.95K. So to know what those values should be, we need to know what the outside air temperature is. So I turn on my meter, and this sensor's a little bit off right now because it was in my pocket. But we'll measure the temperature out here, and then we'll correspond that temperature to a resistance reading. So this, if you look at this chart, our temperature outside here should be somewhere between 50 and 45 based on the 19.9, because 19.9 is somewhere between 19.4 and 22.2. So we should come in pretty close to 45 degrees out here right now, probably right around 44. And as you look at my meter, the temperature is settling down to approximately that number. So we know that we're within specifications on that sensor. I'm going to check the other sensor. It should also be reading in that same range. It's reading 20.3. Now its reading is slightly different than the other because it's not measuring the outside air temperature, it is measuring coil temperature. So we check both the sensors, make sure the values are within range, which these both are, and then we go ahead and we hook them back up to the board. It's just, again, another check that we're doing on a maintenance to make sure the machine is correct. Okay, so the next step is we're going to go ahead and hook up our manifold gauge set to this system and run it and check the pressures to make sure that they're correct and the machine is working safely and efficiently. So we'll hook electricity back up, And I'm going to run inside and turn the machine on. So when we turn on a heat pump, we like to let it run for 5 to 10 minutes before we really start evaluating the temperatures and the pressures that we're seeing. So what I'm going to do here is just set up for some temperature checks. So you can see we're getting right at about 45 degrees coming out of the machine. And then we measure down here coming in, and you'll see that we'll run somewhere between 3 to 5 degrees warmer coming into the machine than what is coming out. And that's typically the numbers that I see on this machine. Again, I just turned on the machine, so the numbers won't be as accurate as they will be in a few minutes. But you can get an idea already. There's our 3 degrees, which is the number I typically see on this machine. So this is a pipe clamp. It's just measuring the temperature of this pipe. We're looking at the discharge temperature, and it should be somewhere between 120 and say 145 based on the temperature outside, the temperature inside, a few other things. But as you can see, we're at 135, which is right about where it should be. The next temperature I'm going to take is on the suction line.